following segment on Eyewitness News is sponsored by 160 Driving Academy.
And welcome to today's edition of Ask the Expert. I'm your host, Shea Paul, and I have a very special guest joining us today. I have Mr. Steve Gold, CEO of 160 Driving Academy, joining us. How are you, Steve?
Great, Shea. Thank you for having us today.
Hey, thank you for being with us. This is great and a long time coming. I know that 160 Driving Academy recently opened up a new location here in Charleston on Canal Boulevard West. And I know we were at the ribbon cutting ceremony for that. It was very exciting.
No, yeah, we're really excited to be in Charleston. It's our first of 3 schools into West Virginia, and we've been open now, I think, for a month, and the program is very popular, and we're getting a lot of students trained and people out to make more money and with a commercial driver's license. So it's been really successful in a very short amount of time.
Right. And then you're going to be having additional locations. I know Parkersburg and Huntington, I believe, are next.
That's right. Parkersburg, Huntington. Actually, we opened both in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and those schools also are seeing a lot of demand, and so far, so good. I think there's a lot of interest for what we do and train people to get their commercial driver's licenses across West Virginia, and all 3 of our schools now are fully functioning and open, and seems to be we're off to a good start.
That's awesome news, Steve. So, yeah, I was going to basically ask you to just tell our audience a little bit about what 160 Driving Academy, what you do there.
Sure. So 160 Driving Academy is the nation's largest commercial driving school. We train people how to drive a semi-truck. So just like when you learned how to drive a car when you're 16 years old, Shay, it's the same thing, just as much bigger.
Right.
Curriculum is 160 hours. The first 40 hours in a classroom, just like when you're 16, you need to get your permit before you get behind the wheel. So the first 40 hours are preparing people to get their permit at the local DMV. And then the last 120 hours are actually you're driving behind the wheel, you're practicing how to back up the truck, other skills you need to be a successful commercial truck driver.
Gotcha. Okay, so I know you were talking about hours there. What does that translate into how long it really takes to get your commercial driver's license?
Yeah, typically it's 4 to 5 weeks. So
wow.
Yeah, you enroll, and we start a new class every Monday of the year at every one of our schools. So whenever people are ready, they can enroll, and then 4 weeks later you come out. Our typical graduate starts at around $60,000 to $65,000, their new job, and then they go from there. We have plenty of our past students making well over $100,000 a year driving trucks. And not only do we do the training, but we also place a lot of individuals into high quality jobs. So whether you want to drive for like Pepsi-Cola, or whether you want to drive for like Home Depot, or whether you want to drive for a big over-the-road trucking company like Schneider Trucking, we have all those jobs available, and we not only do the training, but as I mentioned, we place a lot of our students into those employers.
That is fantastic. I'm sure that has a lot of appeal, to people watching out there that might be undecided about what they want to do, when they graduate, get out of school, or even retirees. I know that, I had heard that there's a lot of people who are retired from their secular job that are now in your classrooms.
Correct. I mean, you can Google like truck driver shortage. There's a massive shortage of truck drivers, and there's, I think, like a major swing toward the American truck driver right now because the wages are going up significantly. So our average students are getting paid, like I said, $60,000 coming out of school, and we have many more making over $100,000 after they have driving experience. So a lot of people are seeing it as either, as you mentioned, like a great career option, as something to do rather than what they're doing all day today, or they finish their career, they don't want to end their career, they don't mind driving, or they want to get with their spouse and drive across the country. Got plenty of those jobs available too, and then they enroll in the program, and look, we're going to train over 30,000 people across the nation this year on how to do this, and there's 3 million commercial truck drivers in the United States, and so it's actually a very popular job, and you can make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, and it sounds like, to your point, that there would not really be an issue after graduating and getting your license in getting a job. And how many how many careers can you say that about, right?
Right. Like, I live in Chicago. And so if you like go onto Craigslist and Google like or put in like CDL driver jobs, right now, I think there's like 3,500 available jobs in Chicago alone. I'm not sure how many in Charleston, West Virginia, but a lot, you know? So there's no shortage of demand for this vocation, and everybody wants well-trained, safe drivers. And that's what we do for a living at our company.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of these truck driving companies, that are employing these drivers, in addition to a great salary, I'm sure they have benefits as well. In many
Yeah.
cases. Yeah.
Right. They're all going to have, they're all competing for drivers now. So
Right.
the wages have gone up, the benefits have gone up, what's called the home time. So if you work for an over-the-road trucking company, you want to be home with your family and your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. So they all think about those things now when they hire individuals, and the quality of the job is really improved. Even in the last 5 years, everyone's buying like new equipment and safer equipment, and that's what we want as an industry. So that's why I said there's like a massive resurgence going on for the American truck driver, and we think it's great.
Well, and I'm so glad that 160 Driving Academy, is such a huge part of this resurgence. So, and we really appreciate you being with us, Steve. I hope you'll come back.
Shea, thanks so much for having us. We're excited to be in West Virginia, and thanks for taking the time to learn about our company and attend our ribbon cutting. And we appreciate all the time you've taken to learn about our company.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, Shea.